So what are the things that makes us not to give up? What are the things that make other people to experience the same thing and give up? What are the things that are in us, that are embedded in us, that makes it possible for us to go through, that we have the energy, the power to be able to go through without breaking down? These are the things that we are going to be looking at in this session tonight. These are the things that we are going to be looking at. We are going to be building a strong mindset around having challenges, because challenges are the things that help us to develop ourselves. Challenges are the things that help us grow. It's like muscles. If you don't carry heavy muscle, if you don't lift weight, it is not going to be building up your muscle, because there is no friction, there is no form of difficulty that your muscles will have to build up on. The same thing with your brain, the same thing with your body, the same thing with the way that you teach yourself about life. It is like you are having a track record of something that gradually teaches you how you should behave, how you should move about. So these are things that we all see in our daily life, our experiences, that mold our mindset, that mold our identity in one way or the other. So we are going to see in this webinar how we are being changed gradually, and how we can give ourselves a second chance whenever we fail, because this is the goal of tonight's meeting. Life hit you so hard than you actually expected. If you have ever had that kind of challenge, then I believe you are going to relate with this webinar tonight. At some point you had a setback, you had a failure, a rejection, you experienced a heartbreak, a disappointment, you experienced an abuse, a betrayal from a business partner, from a colleague, or you experienced a loss that your life was centered around that thing, that the moment you lost it, it was like there is no hope again, there is no hope around this thing. But let me tell you, that is not the end of the story. That is not the end of the story. The goal tonight is to establish something that I'm going to state here, which is to give you thought-provoking questions that are going to change the way you view difficulties, change the way you view hard times, hardship, or challenges. That is going to change the way that you see life and help you to move on. That is the fact about hard times, is that the harder the situations, the harder you become, and the stronger you become, the easier it is to help others out of those kind of situations, because it is not all about you. At the end of the day, you should be able to channel what you have learned from your experience to be able to change the life of other people, because you are not centered around yourself. That is not what we are looking forward to. It is not a life that is selfish. We need to be people that are giving. Our experiences need to also reflect our ability to give, because not giving up is also giving a gift to somebody, because your story at some point will be an encouragement to another person, that this person, I heard from his story, it encouraged me so much so that I didn't give up. His story motivated me to keep pursuing my dreams, to keep pursuing my vision. And if you are listening to me today and you think that there is no hope anymore, you think that life is finished for you, you think that there is nothing left for you in this life, I would like to tell you that there is hope. There is, so long as you are alive, there is still a chance for you to make a significant difference. There is still something that you can do today in order to change tomorrow. It is not always about what you are going through at the moment. It's how you allow what you are going through to affect you and how you see life. I want you to follow. So this is the challenges of the past. These are things that we have actually experienced and they have already come. So why is it that people usually remain around them? Why is it that people usually keep pondering around things that they have experienced the bad times, the hardship, this and that, and at the end of the day they end up not even doing anything about these challenges. You see, question the story you've been telling yourself. Your past doesn't define you, your interpretation does. Your past doesn't define you, but how you see your past, how you interpret your past, that is what actually has most of the influence in your life. The next thing is let's break its grip on you today, and this is how we're going to do it. Stop letting yesterday control your present. Yesterday can have so much power. You had a breakthrough, yes, you had a heartbreak, you had a failure in business, one partnership didn't go through. Then when you sit down, you keep thinking about it, the only thought that comes in your mind is that thing that didn't work out, that thing that didn't work out. It doesn't let you to rest simply because you experience it. This is what is going to actually hold you back, because the past has the ability to repeat itself again and again and again, as long as you let it to. You see, you can also give it the ability to govern your life. The past has the ability to recycle itself, which is so important that we begin to understand. And that we are going to build tonight, we are going to build a mindset, something that is a natural response, an instinct that is going to cause challenges to be viewed differently, from a standpoint of I can do better, I can make it, even though it is coming now, it doesn't mean it is the end. Even though it has come now, it doesn't mean it will end my life. So that is how we're going to be viewing challenges as from tonight, from this webinar, because we title it the second chance, because a lot of people are already giving up presently. A lot of people have already given up on great ideas, on great business ideas, on great opportunities, things that could potentially change your future. You have already given up on them. We are here tonight to cause you to come back to those things, to cause you to see them from the standpoint of success, that even if it's difficult right now, just know that something can work out about it. You see, whenever you're starting back, whenever you are continuing something that failed or didn't work out, you are taking hold of something that didn't work out, you are not starting from scratch, you are starting from experience. You see, you already know what doesn't work when you already failed. That is why the reason why you should embrace failure is not from the standpoint of you keep failing, but from the standpoint of every failure is like a level unlocked. It's like a new level that is going to be unlocked for me to see more realities, or higher realities of what I'm currently pursuing, of my current pursuit. I need to ask yourself, or honestly ask yourself this question. You say, what if that thing that broke you is a thing that can actually build you? Like, just think about it for 1 minute. You had an experience in the past and you think that it was the end of the world. Then suddenly you begin to notice that that thing that happened was the reason why your life is better today. When you look back, you are like, I really thank God that this thing happened, because if it did not happen, my life wouldn't have changed. This is a real world scenario where a lot of people get a heartbreak, both ladies and the guys. A lot of people get a heartbreak, then they use that heartbreak as fuel to work on themselves. They will use that heartbreak as a fuel to really pursue their passion even the more. We are going to see that if they didn't have that experience, they wouldn't have worked on themselves the more. They wouldn't have become a better version of themselves. And that is why we should embrace the challenges, the difficulties with grace. Let's learn to forgive ourselves. Let's learn to really forgive ourselves, because the moment you begin to forgive yourself, it opens you up to the possibility of a new beginning. You are open to starting back afresh. And once you start back afresh with a fresh mind, you can still make it. You can still make it. Even if you had made mistakes in the past, it doesn't really matter. Ask yourself again another thought-provoking question. What if I'm not behind? What if I'm just being prepared? Have you asked yourself why some things that happen, they cause you to go back and do some studies and do some introspection? You thought that you were actually behind, meanwhile you were not behind. It was just a season of preparation. Some people look at this as a definite situation. They say, no, I have failed, I am not making it, no, business is not moving. Meanwhile, that business that you are saying is not moving, it's just a season that you are being prepared for the bigger things that are coming. Because some challenges at some point, they help to learn, they help you to learn. They help you to be able to learn, to sit down, because making some mistakes when you have already grown, it's very costly. It's very costly for you to be able to manage and for you to be able to restitute. It's very costly. The next thing you should ask yourself today is, am I holding on to pain because it feels familiar? Like, have you had this thing before? Is this simply because I want to have it because others hold on to it also, or I want to hold on to it because there is something that it does to me, that there is no new experience that you are going to have because you are holding on to pain consistently? This is a familiar ground. We all experience pain. We have all gone through a situation in life that has caused us pain, some way, somehow. But was it really the end of life? Sometimes what we go through can determine whether it's actually the end or a new beginning. Because sometimes, you see, a second chance also means a new beginning. A new beginning. So you see that once you give yourself the opportunity to begin once more, you are not going to be starting from zero. Unknown feels more dangerous than the pain. Things that you don't know, things that you have never experienced, are more dangerous than the things that you are already aware of. Next thing that you need to ask yourself, am I actually stuck, or I'm just afraid of moving forward? Many people have this fear of making progress. They are actually afraid of their potential, how much success they can be able to achieve, how much they can be able to get from, if they know that they are going to put in the effort and be able to succeed, but they are afraid. And the point where they hit rock bottom, they give up, because that's actually the opportunity that they were looking for. But you see, the moment you realize that this fear is just a form of illusion, you are going to jack back again. You say that no, there is a difference between being blocked and choosing not to move on. Be honest when you begin to notice this. When you are blocked, it means that there's something standing between your way, your current position, your actual position, and your destination. But when you choose to give up, it means that there could be nothing, or there could still be something, but you choose not to move, and not to make any progress, not to go further. And that is what a lot of people get stuck in. You see, life is at the same time easy and challenging. It is easy from your perspective. It is challenging from the experiences. If you say that it is continually going to be hard, you are going to experience hard times so much so that you are going to end up giving up because of the hard times. You've experienced something that caused you to regret, something that caused you to be guilty or angry, or gave you a false identity in the past. This is something you should have done better. You keep thinking that I should have done this better, I should have changed this way, I should have done it a little bit more like this. You know, with guilt, you think it's your fault. You are now shouldering every fault that comes along with whatever happened on the way. And with anger, you now think that they shouldn't have done that to you, that you don't deserve the betrayal, you don't deserve the thing that let's say a partner, a friend, or this or that did to you. Then with false identity, you think every experience that has amounted to who you are currently, you think that is your own reality. You think that is your new reality. Meanwhile, it is not. If you choose to, here are two things that people that are faced with this kind of decisions are going to make two choices. Either of these choices. One, to hold on to the past. You're having a regret, something that you regret. You can choose to hold on to the past. You can choose to be guilty, to remain guilty. You can choose to be angry and unforgiving. You can choose to hold on to the false identity. And the second decision is to let go and start rebuilding. You have a business that didn't go through. You can forgive yourself for having that kind of business. You can say that, okay, you regret making this decision, but it is not the end of life. I am going to forgive myself and let go. You have something that you're guilty of. You can choose to open up and let go of the guilt. Something that made you angry, you can choose to forgive and let the anger, let it disappear. You have been holding on to an identity. You can choose to let go of that identity that is consistently holding you back, or that is programming some certain levels of outcomes that are not really favorable for your own life, because you cannot build on the mindset that is causing the setback. You cannot interpret you cannot have success to a certain extent when you keep holding on to grudges, when you keep holding on to regret, when you keep holding on to guilt, and when you keep holding on to anger, unforgiveness. You having or giving yourself a second chance depends on actually these four things. You really need to forgive yourself from the regret, the guilt, forgive the anger, and let go of the false identity. And then after that you have done that, you start rebuilding. It was painful to build, it was painful, the failure felt painful, but you can choose to start rebuilding. I know if you are getting value from this, I want you to just drop a comment or share with somebody in the group. You tell them that we are actually live, we are sharing something valuable that they shouldn't miss, Let's go on to our next aspect of tonight. Letting go actually doesn't mean forgetting what happened. Even the Bible says that forgive and forget. But if you forgive and you forget, you completely forget, I believe personally that you should go to the hospital because you have forgotten something significant. The forgive and forget means that whenever you remember that thing, it shouldn't have the same impact on you as it usually had before. You had a breakup, something that hurt you, a partner that you really were working with, you trusted the person disappointed you, and you now holding the person to your heart, and you don't want to forgive. The moment you forgive and you remember the situation, it shouldn't trigger you as much as it was happening at the beginning. Letting go doesn't mean you pretend it didn't hurt you. We are all human beings. Some things cannot go unseen. That is a lie. Some things cannot just go unseen. You cannot pretend like you didn't see the things that are happening. And also, letting go is not excusing, it's not what was done. It's not giving flimsy excuses for what was done. This is what it actually means. Letting go is a decision that we all at some point will have to make. The decision to let go, to stop blaming others for what is happening in our life. Here's what happens with blame. Whenever you blame somebody, you are giving them, you are passing to that person power. That is, from the fact that you have blamed the person, you have indirectly stated that that person has power over you. That is, the person can determine the outcomes of your life. Letting go also means that you stop reliving the moments of the past, that you start living now. This is what it literally means. That you stop playing in your mind the tapes of failure. You stop repeating in your mind the experiences that you had that caused you to fail. That is, those memories, stop playing them. That is what letting go means. Letting go. That person that you cannot stop thinking of, or that you cannot stop thinking of revenging from. You have vengeful thoughts about the person. You have hateful thoughts or malicious intent about the person. Please give yourself a second chance. Let go of those kind of things, because they are not going to lead you to anywhere. It could be a business partner, it could be a love relationship that you're in, it could be a friend, it could be something that didn't work out, an opportunity that you were waiting, that would have changed your life, that didn't turn or that didn't click. Learn to let go, because whenever you keep blaming those things, you are indirectly saying that those things have the power to control you. This is it. Now you have reached a point where you have identified that this is who I am, this is what I've experienced. It was hard to let go. Now you are now going to start building a new identity. That is, you can't become new thinking like the old you. The thoughts, the mindset that brought about the outcome, the previous outcomes, you need to let go of that mindset. If not, you keep experiencing the same thing over and over and over. And that is how those who do that, their life keeps going in the cycle, in a loop. They wonder why things are not working. They wonder why things are not moving ahead, but their life keeps moving like that, in a circle. Like unforgiveness, for example, it's like drinking poison and expecting another person to die. It doesn't work like that. You took the cup, put the poison, you drank it. Another person is not going to die on your behalf. You are going to go in for it. The worst thing is, the people that have hurt you, they don't even remember that they have done what they have done, but you keep holding that thing. Why? You keep holding that thing. Even if they don't ask for the apology, sometimes just let go. Just call them and say, I've forgiven you. I know you might not be aware that it hurt me, but I've forgiven you. You might not even need to tell them that you are forgiving them, but you have to let go. Free your heart. As a man thinks, so is he. It's not like so will he become. Like, your thoughts equate your actions. As you think, it's going to gradually translate into your words, into your actions. Your thoughts actually filter your perspective or your viewpoint of the world. Yes, the old you versus the new you. Let's begin to explore this. I hope you are getting value from this. Hope you are there. Hello? Okay, thank you very much. So let's continue. You see, the old you is somebody that is going to doubt himself. The old you is somebody that has consistent self-doubt. You wait for confidence before acting. You wait to feel confident before acting. And now, in the new you need to take responsibility for every action that happens. Everything that happens in your life, you need to take responsibility for it. This is where stopping to blame people comes in. Acting regardless of how you are feeling comes in. That is, with the new mindset, as a victor, as somebody that is a winner, you understand that even if this thing felt hard, even if I didn't succeed in this, I can do better, I can make it. You don't need validation to move forward or to get a second chance. That is what the old you was causing you to think. Somebody doesn't have to give you validation or to say, move on. You didn't make it in that business, go to the next, try another thing. You don't need the validation. Nobody has that power except you choose to give them. Nobody needs to approve it first before you can move on. Nobody. And the good news is you can set standards that direct your life. Setting standards that direct your life, not following the crowd, not following what other people are doing, where others are going. You can move on. People expect you to carry that malice, that hate, that unforgiveness, to hate on that business partner that you had a failed or a bad experience with. You choose, I'm not going to do that. I have my standards, and it is, I forgive whatever the situation. And also, the old you avoid discomfort. You see, you need to look at discomfort as a kind of blessing. Let me give you an illustration. The moment you start learning, this is what it does. The new knowledge that you acquire is going to confront the old knowledge. And this particular experience here, it feels very, very, very uncomfortable. Once you begin to have new thoughts, real thoughts, life-changing thoughts, they are going to come in conflict with the ones that you had before. So you are now the one to choose. Learning new things is very uncomfortable. I must tell you, as somebody that is consistently learning or consistently trying to improve on myself, learning is really, really hard at times. But you can choose to either not grow or you can choose to grow. That is the truth about it. Don't blame others. People who are in their past, people who have not given themselves a second chance, consistently blame others. Why didn't you start a business after you failed that one? You say, no, that's my old partner, you know, he's a very wicked person, he's not a very nice guy, he's a cheat, he's a this, he's a that. You say, why don't you want to get married? You say, my old relationship, I failed because my ex, my this, my dad, it didn't work out on this and that. You begin to give excuses, blame things, blame people, cast the blame on everyone and everything that you can cast the blame on. This is not a good mindset if you want to move forward. Past excuses hinder present growth. Past excuses hinder your ability to move forward. Instead, what I would recommend is that you use all of that to build from that experience. You see, what didn't work in the past business, you now begin to see, okay, we didn't check the aspect of what we can bring to each other, how we can help each other, how we can progress, we didn't have the same values even at the beginning. So you see that is an experience that you have now gotten feedback from, and you say, if I want to get in partnership with somebody now, I need to see if we have the same values, I need to see if we have the same vision. Even if we are going to different places, at least we need to have somewhere that we align. There should be an alignment at least somewhere. Like, use the past as a fuel, not a cage. The past is not a cage. You should embrace it. Embrace your past experiences, learn from them. Have you seen people who, after a certain period of failure, they now use their experience to begin to teach the younger people, especially people who have gone through trauma? Some people that I know personally, they have gone through rape, experiences of rape. What they do now with those experiences, they would have chosen to say, no, I was raped, like that I cannot do anything, there is nothing I can do, so that guy, he spoiled, he ruined my life. You choose to give yourself a second experience, a second chance. Those people who get up and say, okay, this is not the end of my life, a rape happened, yes, I couldn't have controlled the outcome, but I can control how it affects me. So now the people use it as fuel to say, I'm going to teach young ladies how to dress in public, I'm going to teach the young guys how to behave when they see ladies, I'm going to teach people how to interact with one another so that there should be love and harmony, that no one should have thoughts of loss come across their mind. So you see that you can either use it as fuel, or you use it as an opportunity to blame another person. And there are a lot of things that people have which is like a myth, like things that beliefs, funny beliefs that they are kind of holding on to with regards to the point where they are rock bottom, the point where tragedies happen to them. You see, these common beliefs are, if I am experiencing hard times, that means I am a failure or I'm failing. A lot of people think success should be easy. This is what a lot of people have in mind. That is not what success is. You can know that the outcome of success can be good, but getting there, the process, is never an easy one. That journey is never an easy one. At some point you feel like you are missing something. At some point you feel pain. At some point you feel like nothing is moving literally. You are like rock bottom. You are in the dark. You don't know what to do next. You don't know what decision to take next. But you choose not to give up. You see, that particular hard time, that's part of the process when you are beginning to grow, when you are beginning to experience life. It is not the end of life though. Another wrong belief that people have is pain is permanent. Pain is never permanent. There are some things that you are going to go through for a while. The word there is for a while. You are going to traverse those moments for a short period of time, and the reason why you could be going through them could be to learn something, to get an experience that is going to help you in your future, to adapt better to a new situation. Like, these are things that you actually should look at them from the point of pain is something that builds me up. Look at this diamond, or rather gold. Have you ever seen gold being formed where it doesn't go through fire? The purity of it can never come out if it doesn't go through fire. If it's not subjected to fire, gold can never become pure. if diamond doesn't go through pressure, that pressure, it is the pressure that forms diamond in the first place. Pressure from left, right, the earth struck, everything around it is pressing into it, to the point where you wonder, am I going to survive? The rents are pressing you, your family is there, they say this one is not going, this one is not going through. You feel like things are not really moving, things are not moving. This is the moment where you are very close to a major breakthrough. That is the moment where you are being forged inside. It is that pain that causes you to grow up. That things that could kill you, things that actually kill others. Have you seen people die because of depression? Yes, it happens. It happens. A lot of people die because of thoughts of not. I think there was a story one time here in India of a student committing suicide because they are not paid school fees. I assure you, it's not like that student, it's not like the person was like deserved that, but I see that a lot of people are also going through the same. What makes the thought to be different? That might not be the whole story, but I'm just saying this to say that some struggles in life comes so that you can be prepared for the battles that are ahead of you. So you should learn to embrace them and not bow down to them, then use them as an experience to grow. You see, another person will believe that success is equal to a struggle. That's why it's first of all hard in the first place for people to even want to succeed. They don't want to go through that struggle. The next belief is pressure breaks you. Instead, like we gave an example earlier with diamond, the pressure that forms diamond doesn't break it. That's one of the hardest substances on earth and one of the most valuable minerals on earth, diamond. The next thing is growth should feel easy. People believe that everything comes at no cost like that. It is not always how it is. So here's how the new you should begin to see this kind of situation, that hard times is preparing you for greater. It's like a tutor telling you that you doing these classes now is preparing you for the exam that is coming up ahead. And if you don't do the classes very well, if you don't understand, if you don't learn from it, you are going to fail the major exam. So look at hard times as season of preparation. Look at them like season of preparation. You're going to see another one. Pain fades, lessons stay. The pain that you experience is not going to be there forever. There are some moments that are moments of joy, moments that bring smiles to your face, that relieve you of all the pain that you have been having. One instance could change your life. What if just getting up to start again could be that chance that life or God was waiting for you to take so that your life should change? What if that was the only moment that you had left and you choose to give up? That's why you need to give yourself a second chance. Forgive my handwriting, I'm using my okay. You always see the highlights reel, like you always see people's highlights, and you begin to, in fact, one thing I notice is people compare the timeline of their life with the highlights of other people's lives. People give headlines of the successes, the big things that are going on in their life, the cars, the this, and you take those moments. You don't know what they went through before they posted all of that. You take those highlights and you begin to compare with your little struggles. You say, I shouldn't be going through this, my mates are already making it. Look at them, look at them, look at, man, you don't know what you're missing out. That's part of the reason why you should really stay in the process is it's going to permit you to tell your story to somebody. That's one gift that you shouldn't deprive your younger ones from. That story, they need to hear it, because some might think that they are the only ones in the world going through those kind of situations. Don't deprive them of the privilege. One thing you also need to see is that pressure reveals who you are. It reveals your personality. Like in the same situation where you could be broken, you could collapse, you could fail, the same situation comes and you're now standing, you're now able to manage it. Pressure is just relative to your ability to manage it. You hear people, they say, can you work under pressure? They say yes. Then they have an instance where there's real intense pressure and then they cannot work. That's because they didn't have a real example to train their ability to work under pressure. That is one thing. See, another one is hard equals you are on the right path. Sometimes it's not always like simply because it's hard you're on the right path. You can be hard because you are stubborn or you don't follow principles. But sometimes when something is hard, it prepares you for something greater. It prepares you to be stronger, for you to become more incapacitated to handle the situations. So there is a statistics rather which shows that 89% of people that survive traumatic experiences grow tremendously. I mentioned earlier an example, rape. Another one could be the parents died from a motor accident or a car accident. Another one could be they are coming out from a broken home where they didn't see their dad smile with their mom. Another one could be they don't really see themselves really succeeding because nobody has ever seen or succeeded around them. So you see, traumatic experiences should be considered as gifts at times. You shouldn't wave them away just like that. Use them as an opportunity to grow. Give yourself a second chance. A second chance. Like that. You deserve a second chance. You deserve to really move on, to be a better version of yourself, to be somebody that is really going to change, to be an example for others. You will not want to come back or to be asked after 15 years, what did you do with your life? Then the only thing that you hear was, my uncle did not sponsor me in school, my auntie was wicked, she did not help us when we were growing. Will that be the kind of experience, will that be the kind of testimony that you are going to give your children? The people that ask you, let a conversation with you be an honor, that this person was down, he had no opportunity, nobody to help, but they use that as fuel to now move on, to now become a better person, to now build a better life. You see, that is a story that a lot of people want to hear. They want to hear things they can relate with, stories that they can be able to relate with. They don't want to hear, no, nothing was, it was very easy at the beginning, I didn't have any struggle. Honestly, those stories, they sound fake. Like, how can your life just be a bed of roses? So I would like to encourage us today, whatever the experience that you had, whatever the situation that you went through, the traumatic experience, I am not in your timeline. You know best what you experienced. Somebody denied to help you and today you would have been better, but you are not really doing good. You can give yourself a second chance, like forgive that person and choose to move on, choose to really make progress. You could be saying that you are going to start with whatever thing you have. Just do it. Just start with whatever thing you have. Give yourself a second chance. It's not always about having to start with everything. You failed in that first business, or your shop got engulfed in fire, and now you don't want to open another shop, you don't want to start another business. Your business collapsed and you don't know how to do again. You are now being laid back, you are now drinking and doing all these things to show the world that now you are depressed. See, those things are not going to help at the end of the day. It is your story that you are waiting, that is being waited for. People are waiting for your winning story. So I'll end with this tonight. I just want to encourage you. I just want to really encourage you. No matter the experience, no matter how hard it felt at the beginning, I really want that you do something about it. Do something about it. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Just have it in mind that it's not the end of the world. That you can be significantly impactful even with the experience, even with the trauma that you have. You know about stories, great stories. Jeff Bezos, 13 years not profitable in business, but today, who doesn't have Amazon in the phone? Everybody has Amazon and everybody is using it, and he owns everything from the supply to the logistics. Everything, he has it. So you see, it's just your story that you are building more that matters at this point. It is not really about the experiences that you have had. Give yourself a second chance. Give yourself a second chance. Give yourself a second chance. You deserve it more than any other thing. So I really like to ask, is there anyone who would like to share an experience that this happened to me and I decided to not look back, I decided to get up from, I decided to not complain, but it changed my way of seeing life and it made me become a better person? If you have that kind of experience here and you want to share it to motivate somebody, to push somebody forward, you can also share that experience. Let's hear your work. We're waiting for you.
Greetings, everybody. Hope we are getting.
Yeah, greetings, Mr. Elvis.
Yeah, Mr. Mick, thank you for the opportunity. I would just love to share this little thing. Just as I was getting finished with my program, my engineering program in the university, some kind of bad stuff happened because I had a team that I was working with, and our startup was doing well, but it came to a point that there was a lot of tension and things had to break up, and this caused me to fall into a lot of depression. It caused me to fall into a lot of regret and thinking of how I would stand up by myself. So I went to my father, went to parents, and trying to just explain my situation in a pitiful manner that people should have pity on me and let me do back this thing. And so they did not agree. So it got me more depressed and it got me more thinking a lot again that I may not be able to ever do this again in my life. So I should just leave it and continue with my life the way it can be. Yeah, but in the course of doing this, I stumbled across a book called Mastery by Robert Greene, and this book taught me a lot about becoming good at what you do. And through this book and other things around me during this season, it caused me to see that I can do it. I just need the willpower to be able to take that step to do it. And so I I took upon myself, built the business plan, built the way I wanted everything to go, and I basically presented this business plan with that willpower that I already had, that I will do this.
Yeah.
And I drafted the business plan, got to one of my teachers who really, sometimes, a lot of times, he always just says I'm fearless and he believes in me a lot. So I presented to him and he was able to support with 300,000, and got also to my uncle.
Wow.
He was able to give the money that I needed for part of the machines that I needed.
Yeah.
It was so, and then I was like, see what I was really turning around and thinking that I don't have money, I don't have the right resources, I don't have the right people. But when I just had that willpower and then see how things were just coming, I was amazed, and there's still so much to be done. So I pray the lab is already set up for now, and I'm praying that God should help me as I go through with everything. Thank you so much, Mr. Mick.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. This is a proof that you can start back no matter the setback that you've had. Like, it's when you choose to sit down on that failure that it's really going to hurt you. Like my brother was saying, it wasn't like replaying the memories of the failure, of the failed partnership that he had, the failed startup. So you're going to see people move on. Once you choose to move on, you're going to open yourself to more possibilities.